Hi everyone, it's Miss Sterling here. I miss you all so much, but I'm here to share some book recommendations with you like I love to do. I know right now it's a little bit hard to get a hold of books if you can't buy books. However, I am going to talk about two services that offer ebooks, and then also graphic novels. So they're both available through Seattle Public Library, and all of you have a library card number, which I'm going to go over. And if you have another library card, it's like having a second library card. I know I went over this way long time ago, but I think a lot of us have forgotten. So I'll show you how to do that. The two I'm going to talk about are Libby, which is part of Overdrive, and the other one is Hoopla. They're similar but a little bit different. Libby, which is the app that I prefer to read on. It's how I read about 98% of the books that I read. You sometimes have to put holds on books, so you have to like wait till they come in. There are more and more books that are available all the time, and so I'm going to show you a few of my favorites that I love and how to get there. And then the other that I'm mentioning is Hoopla, and Hoopla is for graphic novels, and it also has TV and like streaming video. I'm not going to go over that as much, but feel free to browse. They have a lot of really good stuff on there. So I can't wait to show you. Let's go see how to get on there, and then I'll do a few book talks of ones that you can get right now. Thanks. So I'm going to show you how to get to Libby. There are a few different ways you can go through the Seattle Public Library. You can even just go to libbyapp.com if you remember. But if you're on the Eckstein page and you're on this black bar, you mouse over and you go down to Online Academic Resources. And then it's going to pull up a page of a lot of different resources that you'll recognize. And you just scroll down and you click on SPL eBooks and audiobooks. And it'll take you to this welcome screen. And you're going to say, yes, you do have a library card, because every student automatically has a library card. If you already have one, it's just like having a second, like I mentioned before. So you click yes. I'm going to search for the library, and I'm going to search for Seattle and hit enter. And then there are two. You want Seattle Public Library. And then you're going to say, enter library account details, because you have library account details. So you enter it and you put 990000, and then you find your student ID number from the source. So if you log into the source, it's that top number, it's 7 digits, and you'll put in the 7 digits. It's a little bit different for staff, so I'm just logging in with mine. So just pay attention to what I was saying for yours. Your PIN is your birth date. It has to be 4 numbers. So if you're born January 2nd, it would be 0102. So I enter my PIN, and then you click sign in. Once you've logged in once, it kind of keeps you logged in. There's also a free app you can get, which is primarily how I read, but the reading experience on the computer is pretty nice. So really whatever device you have, you are able to have it. And so now you're logged in, and then you can search for any sort of book you want. And you can also do some browsing. So you can click this explore button. I like to go to teens, and you can click all titles to look at all the titles that are there. One of the things I like to do, especially now, because it defaults to things that are more popular, you'll notice a lot of these say place hold, place hold, place hold. You can choose these preferences. If you prefer ebooks or audiobooks, right now both are showing up, but like right now it's hard for me to listen to audiobooks because my kid's around. So I'm going to choose books. Availability. This is really nice because this means these are books that are available now. And then you can sort by popularity, just because then you will be able to see the books that are, a little bit more. If you like finding out about new books, then you can sort by the default, because that's what the default is. And now we apply preferences. The one thing about choosing books that are available now is that then it means that sometimes if you're searching for a book, you're like, why doesn't it have The Hate U Give? And it might be because people have a hold on it. So you might have to take off that preference. And so now you can see there are lots of books. You've probably heard of a few of these. I've read all of them in the first 2 rows, and I really like them. The Book Thief is probably whenever I ask my TAs for a favorite book recommendation, I almost always get at least 1 or 2 of them to say The Book Thief, and it's told from the perspective of death. It's during World War II. There's this girl whose family is hiding a Jewish man. She's teaching him how to read. It's really good, and the writing is excellent. We Were Liars is a really great thriller, so if any of you read One of Us is Lying, it has some reference, there's also lying in it. but this is one where you can't really trust what's going on, and there's something that happened to this girl 2 years ago, and you're trying to piece together what happened. Everything. I haven't gotten a chance to see the movie yet, but I really enjoyed the book, and I love her other one, which is called The Sun Is Also a Star. And that's a everything is about a girl who's allergic to literally everything, and then a boy moves in next door, and they kind of become friends, and she's trying to question whether things are happening. So those are some just off the top that come up. You can also narrow, so you can click this here, up here, more, and you can pick like a specific genre that you like. So right now, especially, sometimes I find it distracting to be reading and things like that. So I really like suspenseful books or thriller books right now. And you can just scroll down and you can see a lot of these look really good. Panic, I really enjoyed. It's uh, about a town in which these teens always organize this fairly dangerous teen only game where the stakes get higher and higher, and the main girl enters into it, and her friends are all really confused. You have a chance to win a lot, but you also could die. So that one's really fun. Of ones that I see here. People Like Us, I've heard is really good. Oh, The Female of the Species is dark. If you want a really dark one, it starts off with a girl who basically talks about how she killed someone, and you're trying to figure out exactly why. So those are a few suspense funds that I like. Anyway, so that's how Libby is. It's really great. I highly recommend it, and yeah, try it out. There's also a free app if you have a phone or an iPad or tablet. And once you do this the first time, you should just be able to click in, and you'll be logged in once you've logged in once. You shouldn't have to log in too many times. And then you're going to click this sign up button. And if it takes you to another screen, just click the get started. Now you will have to enter an email. So if you don't have an email address, then I would get your parents to do it. They don't send you any emails. Really, it's just part of the Seattle Public Library service as part of being able to log into Hoopla. So you'll use your email to log in every other time after that. So I'm just going to sign up with my Eckstein Library email right now, and you'll notice I have to put it in twice so that they know that it's the right one. You're just going to pick whichever password you want. It has just to be at least 8 characters long, and you're going to put in that twice. And then you click agree. Now it's going to take you to the next thing. Now it defaulted on mine to searching for Seattle Public Library. That's the one you want. So Seattle Public Library, you'll click on this, you'll click next, and then you're going to put in your library card number. Now, what is your library card number? So if your student ID number was 1234567 and your birth date was January 1st, I would put in the PIN 0101, and then I would click sign me up, and then you're in. And then you'll just use that email address and password to log in. It doesn't even, I don't think, send you a confirmation email. It might say a thing like you signed up for the first time, but now you're able to go in. Okay, now I'm in, and you'll notice it defaults to this, and there's it sorts by the popular, and then you can actually just search for your book, the book that you're going to read. So if I was reading the book New Kid, if I didn't notice it down there, I would click here. And then all you do is you click borrow, and you'll notice what it says down here. It says this title is available for 21 days after you borrow it. However, that doesn't mean you only have 21 days. It just means after the 21 days, it goes back and then you get it again. It's super easy. Okay, so let's go to My Hoopla. We can go to currently borrowed, and I'm going to open up New Kid. Okay, and I'm going to click read. And now it'll automatically default to whatever your location is. So you'll notice here, I just click this to go to the next page. Sometimes if you're looking for controls of how to go back, I usually just use the back button. It'll be a little bit different depending on when you're on your iPad and your phone. You can zoom in, so you'll keep going. If you don't see it, it's usually just because there are pages that are blank. So you'll notice this allows you to zoom in. You can also, so sometimes it's a little bit funky, but you can also double tap and it'll go panel by panel. So if you want to read like that, sometimes it makes the whole screen look a little bit funky, but yeah, and that's it.
Okay, so let's talk about just a small sampling of some of the graphic novels I love on Hoopla. First up, this is one I just discovered, and it's called Diana, Princess of the Amazons. And this is a Wonder Woman story. Honestly, I haven't read a lot of Wonder Woman comics. This is a new one, a relatively new one. It's kind of full color, like really bubbly sort of people. I really like the art, and it's basically Wonder Woman when she lives on Themyscira on the island, and she's like the only kid around, and so she feels a little lost, and then she creates this girl out of clay, and it's her only friend. It's fun and the friendship story, but also deals with kind of a lot of the Wonder Woman things as a teenager. So I loved that one. The Runaways, which they made a series on Netflix, which is really fun that I watched, but really fun. There's like a bunch of different volumes of it, and it's about a group of kids who used to hang out with their parents. They're kind of like family friends, and then they discover that their parents are all supervillains. And then one of them has a superpower, and it seems like maybe more of them are getting some, and they have to stop their supervillain parents from taking out their plan. So that one's really great. If you really like the Babysitters Club series, or if you like smile drama and you haven't read Invisible Emmy, I highly recommend it. It's about two girls who are super opposite. Emmy is like super shy and awkward, and then makes friends with this other girl, but it turns out they both have this crush on the same boy. Anyway, it's just really fun and kind of like a fitting in story, and friendship story as well. El Defo, if you've never gotten a chance to read El Defo is a memoir by a woman who, when she was about 4 years old, got a really high fever and went into the hospital and got meningitis and became deaf. And so it's about her using a hearing aid and fitting in and all sorts of things like that. They're all represented as bunnies. The illustrations are really cute, but it is based on her own experience that way. Donner Dinner Party. They have, and all the other Nathan Hale's adventure books, they have those graphic novels. Donner Dinner Party, the story is gruesome and fascinating and horrifying, because it was basically this party that was like going over the mountains, and they were and ran out of food supplies, and some people died, and so they ended up having to resort to eating them. And it's narrated. If you haven't read them, they're kind of like little snippets, so it's almost like told by people in the future who are looking back. It's fun and really detailed art, so I really like all of those. And so you can find the rest of these sort of historical adventures is what I would describe them as. Ms. Marvel is super fun. So it's in the Marvel universe. Obviously, in Ms. Marvel is like a teen in New Jersey, and she's trying to fit in, and then it turns out she has these superpowers. So it's the like superpower origin story, and it's the first one in the series. Lumberjanes, I really like Lumberjanes as well. It's funny and clever. It's, imagine if you took like Girl Scouts and kind of merged it almost with like Stranger Things type stuff, because they're all these like Lumberjanes, what they're called, but they're essentially Girl Scouts, and then they're on this woods, and they're like these howling kitty wolves and all these sorts of adventures that they go on. So that one's a really fun one. They also have a graphic novel adaptation of Anne of Green Gables. Now, I love Anne of Green Gables. I like the original, the first two books particular. So if you haven't read the actual books, I recommend it. But the art is really lovely, and it gives a lot of the sense of Anne of Green Gables. And it's basically about this girl who's an orphan who is adopted by this somewhat curmudgeonly old woman and her quiet husband, and they kind of wanted a boy to help them out with the farm, and it's just all these adventures that she gets into and like scrapes, and how she feels super awkward, but she's also really confident and willing to try things out and take risks. Fun Home is another great memoir. It's a little bit more mature, but it's really excellent as well, and they made a musical of it, which I like. So Fun Home is by a comic named Alison Bechdel, and when she went to college, she came out, and so she was realizing that she was a lesbian and dealing with that, and it turns out that her father was also gay, and then he kills himself kind of in that same time period. So as I said, it deals with suicide and mental health, but there's also just funny parts of it, despite it being kind of heavy topics, like the fact that her family runs a funeral home all throughout her childhood, and so that's why they call it Fun Home. So it's a great one, a great memoir. As I said, some heavy topics, but excellent. And then New Kid won the Newbery this year. It is so good. It's about a kid who is going to private school, and he is one of the few black kids at school, and he really likes art and drawing comics. He was hoping to get into this art school, and instead he got into this other school. And so it's just really, really excellent. Like friendship story, and the writing is great, and there's a lot of like graphic novel references in it. So those are some of my favorites from Hoopla. Enjoy.